I will definitely go to you, Matt, because if we can home in just on this section on grooming gangs, what do you know and understand of them in London, or do we not have any? I mean, we don't, none of us know, and we'd really like an answer.
So I think one of the challenges is when we talk about grooming gangs, lots of people are talking about different things, and there's lots of discourse on social media and other places, meaning it's one thing or another.
When, in this particular instance, the public don't know that all this work goes on, and it's good that we can let the public know that you're doing so much around children. But the public see grooming gangs at the moment as the same as in Oldham, when a group of men literally coerce young children to have sex with them. That is what the public are regarding as grooming gangs at the moment. So if we look at that specifically, and I know it's a much wider issue, but if we look at that specifically, do you think we've got any of those types of gangs in London?
So I think at the moment the biggest threat to young people is criminal exploitation centred around county lines, as opposed to the types of grooming gangs that we've seen in other parts of the country. I'm not going to say it's never happened or can't happen, and I know that separately, Chair, you've been offered a sort of private briefing on some of the intelligence that we're looking at and some of the live jobs. I was off that
yesterday, and absolutely.
We're looking at, which will enable us to give more detail on some of the intelligence and the live work that we're doing. I would say, in general terms, we are not seeing the characterisation of what's been seen in places like Rotherham and Oldham and other places in the north of England is not the picture that we're seeing here. Our picture is much more nuanced, it's much more diverse, and involves a much wider spectrum of exploitation than solely a group of men from one particular ethnicity targeting a group of young girls from a different ethnicity. That isn't the picture that we're seeing.
Yeah, but we also saw the Scottish situation just recently. So I'm not saying it's from a specific group. I've never said that. It's just the whole way it is dealt with. And are you saying that, as far as you know, there are none? Are you saying we don't want to discuss it because of, you know, security or whatever? If you're saying that, that's fine. But I just would like an answer of some description. Do we have any of these in London?
So I'm not going to go into numbers, because whether it's 2 people or 15, I mean, how do we define the thing? There is definitely cases where more than one person might be involved in exploitation. As I've touched on, there are countless gangs. I'm not going to go into numbers as to what we've got and what we haven't got. I'm happy separately to brief you or members of this committee in private on intelligence and the work that we're currently doing around exploitation. But I think the important thing for this committee is that in London it is a much wider problem, as in it isn't just focused on sexual exploitation, it's focused on other things, it's focused on criminal exploitation, focused on trafficking, as well as the obvious threat of sexual exploitation. And I've outlined how I think the Met has responded very well. And it is important to note that part of the reason we got out of HMIC Engage is as a result of sharpening significantly our response to this type of criminality.
Okay. I hear what you say. I'm pleased about the work, but I wish we could have had that answered in a clearer way.